All right, these videos are going to be about building the flat roof. This is something new that that you haven't run into yet. Um, so what I did, I found it best if you do two separate roof systems, and I did one as a just my plywood roof, plywood 5/8 thick. You can do it on top of beam, offset it to the top of your trusses, depending upon which trusses you're using. Okay, and then I created another roof system, the EPDM on insulation, and I just duplicated the, I think it's EPDM on steel joist, and just modified that. And the insulation portion, our base measurement is 3 inches thick, and that is a variable thickness. So you need to check that in the box where when you're setting up this type. Okay. And then I created a level for roof, and I put that level at the top of the plywood. I just, I don't know if I need it so much, so I just thought it would simplify things. So that's what I did. Okay, and then you place your roof and you sketch it. You want to go to the inside of your masonry walls. On you can hit that on the corners here, and it's rear and side, and then you just trim your edges to bring it together. Okay, and that will place the bottom of it on top of the plywood, and it'll be 3 inches thick. Okay, so now you got to do a little math here. Good old Pythagoras. Okay, so, oh, another thing, I put in the scuppers. So, is that section one? Okay, here's the scuppers that are in the download. And I kind of find it easier to put them in an elevation view. So I'll put it in, and I set my height on it. Well, that one has changed. Duh. Oh, no, that's correct. Okay. I set the height of it so that the bottom of the scupper would be at the, I haven't modified that corner. Let me move my section. That's what's going on. Okay, so I put the scupper in so that the bottom of the scupper is at the top of the insulation. So it'd be 3 inches above the roof level. Now this one is showing, because when I put this one in on the elevation, it went in at floor level. That was the height that it ended up being. And then I copied them in my elevation view. I copied them down, and it reassociated them to the roof level with a 3-inch offset. Anyway, we want the bottom edge of the scupper at the top edge of the insulation of the roof. Okay, so it'd be 3 inches above the plywood deck. So I placed those. I put 3 across the back, 2 across the front, and I dimensioned them. The first one was 2 feet over from the outside edge of the building. This one's in the center of the building, and then that one's 2 feet over also. Okay, now the problem being this one right here is going onto the stud wall. So you can't, if you copy and paste it over, you need to edit it. So I copied it, duplicated it, made it a short one, and you go into the properties, you can change the drainage height to 4 feet, and so that made the downspout 4 feet long. But I had to copy that one and duplicate it. So I get all those placed in and get my height set correctly, and then I pin them in place. Okay, so now for the actual roof. You'll put the roof in, and then what you're going to do is you need to calculate heights for what you need to, because we're going to pull this roof up to make it drain down to the scuppers. So in my roof plan, I put in some reference planes. I put a reference plane in at the center of each of the scuppers, so 3 of those going across. And then I put in another one at the midpoint of those 2. So there's one right here. It's covered up with a roof line. And I dimensioned those, made them equal, pinned them, locked them in place. Because I need to know where these points are. What we're wanting is a slope of 3/8 of an inch per foot. And the longest run that we have would be from the high point over the ridge here down to a scupper here. And so you get your reference planes in, you get your scuppers in, and so you just have to measure. So I want to measure from that point, and I want to go to the center of my scupper against the wall. Okay, so that's 37 feet, 2 15, so 37 feet, 3 inches. And I just do my little Pythagorean theorem thing, or calculating, excuse me, proportions of the roof slope of 3/8 of an inch versus 12. And so that comes out to like 13.97 inches. So I just rounded it to 14 inches. So all and across the ridge, we're going to make the ridge coming across here all at one level. And so in doing that, and sometimes it's easier to work in your 2D view, sometimes in your 3D view. Especially placing the points, it's easier in 2D. So I can select it, go back to here, and I want to add a point. And I'm going to come right here to the end of the wall. I can set my elevation here, 14 inches, and I'm going to put one right there at the end of the wall. Okay, and you can see that created this line coming across, and everything is sloping. Yes, there we go. Okay, and everything is sloping down away from that. But my scupper in the corner should still be at 0 inches. Okay. Now we need to put some points in at come on, select it. There we go. I need it to slope from here down to here, but then also from here down this direction. And so I do the distance across here is 17 feet 10 inches. So I did my calculations, and so I want to add a point right here on this line. Oh, I should have set my height. And so that point, I came up with 6.68 inches in my calculations. Okay. And it's going to put these lines in, and we may have to add some more points coming across here. We'll just have to see. Okay. Now I need a 0 point here at the center of my scupper, and then over here I want to raise it up a little bit. So let me come back in here, and I want to add a point of 0 right there. And I want to modify this one. I think I was using 9/16. Okay. And then you just basically are going to work your way across the roof. That one is going to stay at 0. Okay. Now for giggles, let's come back here with 14.